Welcome to Viral Video, Exploiting Server-Side Request Forgery in Video Converters. You are in South Seas CDF, and I have a few notes before we begin the presentation today. Stop by the business hall located at Bayside AB during the day, and if you want to stop for the welcome reception is at 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. tonight. The Black Hat Arsenal is going to be happening soon on the Palm Foyer, Level 3. Stop by anytime. And you can join us for the Pawnee Awards in Mandalay Bay, BCD at 6:30 p.m. And if you could please put your phones in silence mode, we would appreciate that. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our featured speakers today. We have, please give a warm welcome to Maxim Andreev and Nikolay Ermishkin. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Maxim Andreev, and I am software developer at Cloud Mail.ru. Also, I am interested in bug hunting and sometimes playing CTF.
And I'm Nikolay Ermishkin, security analyst at Mail.ru. You may also know me as creator of ImageMagick vulnerability. Also, I'm interested in different security stuff like CTF, bug hunting, and so on.
Okay. Today we are going to tell you about some very interesting vulnerabilities in FFmpeg. So let's start. Nowadays video is very popular. I think everyone watch movies on their smartphones or laptops or TVs. But hundreds of video formats and different audio and video codecs exist. So the same movie may exist in different qualities, with different resolution, in different formats, with different with different codecs encoded. So how it works? Imagine that you just record Ultra HD video on your GoPro or some other video on your camera or on your smartphone, and you just uploaded it to social network or some other video site. Probably you will get thumbnails of that video and ability to play this video on every device. So even if you record Ultra HD video, you'll be able to play it on 3G connection on your old mobile phone because video was converted. And converted on the server with FFmpeg. FFmpeg is open source software. It's widely used to work with media files. So if you need to convert one format to another, or one codec, or change resolution of the video or bitrate to reduce its size, you probably will use FFmpeg. So how FFmpeg works? As user view, it's a black box. You have video in unknown format, video.wtf, and you want convert it to use on your mobile phone. You put it in that black box, and as a result, you receive converted video. Actually, FFmpeg is a really complicated system with dozens of components connected together in not so easy way. And every time I see complicated system, I think the bug should exist there. And let's look closer to two FFmpeg features which will be useful later. At first, we have video.mp4 file, mpeg4 file, and if we copy it to 1, 2, and 3 with different extension, so the extensions of file are different, but the content of the files are the same. And we ask FFmpeg to convert this file to OGV, it's okay. So by default, FFmpeg doesn't take into account file extension. Let's remember that. And also FFmpeg handles txt file in a very special way. So if you have FAQ txt file and ask FFmpeg to convert it to MPEG-4 video, guess what what will be the result? The result will be video with lines of source file. Let's see that video. So this is FAQ.txt file converted to video with FFmpeg. Looks great. Let's remember that feature too. And now let's talk about HLS. It's format which is supported by FFmpeg. It's developed by Apple for media file lift and on-demand streaming. The main idea of that format is to have a main indexed file where you can find links to alternate indexed file and where you can find links to actual video pieces. So original video cut it into pieces, for example, 10 seconds long, and list of that pieces are inside alternate index file. This is how that playlist could be. It has a header and HTTP link to file. Let's try to save it as MPEG-4 video, but actually it's not MPEG-4, it just has MP4 extension. And try to convert it with FFmpeg. Let's try. And now we can see HTTP GET request on our server on that URL. So the idea is to save that specially crafted file as MP4, upload to one of online video converters, and if it uses FFmpeg, then it is SSRF, because we can make requests from their servers. But we cannot read a response of that request yet. So we can make request, but as you remember, FFmpeg handles txt file in a very special way. So let's try add .txt to query string. And after conversion, we'll get black hat HTML code. So if you upload that file to one of video conversion servers, you will able to make HTTP request and read their responses. Great. FFmpeg supports a lot of protocols like FTP, HTTP, and one of that protocol is concat. This is quote from official FFmpeg documentation. Concat is used to read and seek from many resources in sequence as if they were a unique resource. Let's try to play with concat. So we have header file with my domain, and we are trying to concat that header with local etc password file. And after a concatenation, we will get gx.su and the first line of etc password file in query string. So we are now able to read the first line of any local file on the server. But what if we want to read the whole file? We want to hack the server and read many files. We can use FFmpeg2. It's a very easy video format it's lossless, without compression. Header consists only 2 strings. And the whole file is data. So if we concat this header with file content and ask FFmpeg to convert it to PNG file, like thumbnail on web, let's do it. This is how that thumbnail.png file looks like. And now if we save that file to your computer and ask FFmpeg to convert it back from this pseudo PNG to original pseudo U4 MPEG-4, we'll get the original file, etc password. So it's great. And now Nikolay will talk you about how we use that techniques to attack real sites.
And so we have an exploit for the most popular video conversion library. What we've done with this, of course, we tried to find out some real websites which uses it and were vulnerable. And there were a lot of them. For example, Max found this vulnerability on the Yandex Cloud Storage. Together we hacked Flickr, the Yahoo image and video hosting. All this research started when Max developed the video player for our own cloud storage, so it was developed with this vulnerability in mind. And every time when we conducted some huge company with a good security team, all was great. But when we contacted some smaller teams, there was some misunderstanding, and sometimes they were not able to understand the severity of this vulnerability. For example, I want to tell you the story about Imgur. You may know that Imgur is one of the largest image and GIF images hosting in the world. And also they have their bug bounty program on HackerOne platform. I participated in it and find some interesting vulnerabilities. Here's two of the most critical from them. The first one is pretty easy. There was a possibility to read any file from the server with a simple change parameter to name of this file. For example, you change file ID to etsy_svd and you get etsy_svd. That's simple, pretty dumb. And the second one was this vulnerability. It also allows you to read files, as has been shown before. But also you can make a request and read responses. And since Imgur uses cloud architecture, it's very critical for them to have an SSRF vulnerability in this. And I thought that I will get the more bounty for the second bug and less for the first one. But in the real life, I wasn't as I expected, and even after that, they pay money for some bug I believe was a duplicate without any proof of concept of reading information, only about the SSRF. So I decided that the small teams usually don't understand the severity of this bug, and I decided that I should to improve our proof of concepts. Max showed you 3 different techniques for exploiting this vulnerability. The first one was to store data extracted from the server inside the video file. The second one was the store information inside the thumbnail. And the third one was out of band through the HTTP connection during video processing. There could be different situations in real life, but I see only those ones when the third one out-of-band technique worked, and sometimes other doesn't. That's before when you are converting a video on a server, there are a huge pipeline. You have to convert a video, then you have to create a thumbnail, maybe some other processing. And if any of these steps failed, then you cannot get the video with your data, you cannot get thumbnail with your data. And when you try to use out-of-band technique, you only have to start the first video processing step. So we will improve the out-of-band technique when we get our data through HTTP request using concat pseudo protocol. In my opinion, this exploit is already great. It's a great proof of concept since it allows you to show the ability to read files, and it isn't very easy to script kiddie to use them since it reads only the first file. Also, you have to set up your own web server to read logs. But since some security team can get severity of this bug, I decided to make it more clear and in some cases more dangerous. we try to read the whole file using this out-of-band technique. And later I will introduce our tool where you can check this vulnerability without your own web server. First of all, how to read the whole file. The FFmpeg has not only concat subfile protocol, which can be useful for hacker, but also not only a concat protocol, which can be useful for hacker, but also subfile. As clear from its name, it allows you to read the part of file from the beginning byte to the end. For example, as seen on slide, if the first line of the etsy file is 32 characters, and the 33rd character is new line character, if you started from 34 character, you can get the second line. And in the same way, you can read all lines of the file. You may think that you will need to read to upload as much files as strings you want to upload, but it isn't so. Remember how our exploit works. We have an M308 playlist, and we have another crafted M308 playlist inside it using concat protocol. Usually we simply log this HTTP request and return nothing for code, but we can use it too. We can return another M308 playlist like this one, but not for reading the second line, but the third line, and so on, so on. And by this way, we can recursively download the whole file. Something like this. We are trying to read first line, read it, get the first line and its length, and then response with the M308 playlist to read the second line, and so on, so on. Let's see the demo. It looks something like this. You may see that etsy file reads line by line, but you should notice after the several seconds that it will stop not at the end of the file, but in something in the middle. That's because there were a space character inside some line, and HTTP path shouldn't include any character symbols inside it. So we have to find a way to deal with it. You can read not line by line, but char by char. It's the same idea, but way slower. So if you need some reliable way to read always whole file, you should read the char by char. And if you know you haven't any character symbol or space character inside string, you can use line by line technique. It was cool, but is it possible to hack by this way the really well-protected web service like the Facebook? Usually it should be not, because the video files which the user uploads is data which should be processed in the sandbox environment, and usually all requests from them are blocked. I said all requests are blocked, but it isn't correct. All requests should block. But usually it is one kind of request which don't block. It's DNS request. Every time when I make some research or bug bounty hunting, I use my own DNS server. It's very easy. It's only logs all requests and returns IP of my web server, and then I can easily split up different research each from other. And when I saw the DNS logs from FFmpeg research, I found an interesting record from one of Facebook servers. I checked my HTTP logs, and there was nothing. I tried to upload this file once again, and there was no mistake. I saw again a DNS record, but no HTTP. And I understood that they had FFmpeg, but they blocked HTTP requests on firewall or something like this. So we can get a DNS request, and that's all. Is it exploitable? The first thing I tried was to enumerate file. For example, when you put M308 playlist like this, if the first file exists, then the DNS request will be made. And if not, there will be no DNS request, since FFmpeg stops file processing after the first fail. it's the proof of concept, but it isn't what we want. We want to read files as was shown before. So let's try to improve our previous proof of concept to do this. Let's again see at our out-of-band exploit. In our situation, we should move our payload to subdomain since we have only DNS requests. For this, we can split our header into parts and push our payload inside it. But yet we have a big problem. We can't use HTTP to get our headers and footer because all HTTP requests blocked. What we can do in this situation? We could get these headers from files, but there are no such files on the system. I have such files on my system, but there are no on some servers of Facebook or something like this. But we can remember that we have a subfile proto which allows us to read parts of file. And we can create this DNS header and DNS footer from the parts of files we know. So we have to find a file on a Linux system which never changed and which have all symbols that we need to craft a M308 playlist. And I searched this file and I found, ironically, it was called etc/security-access.conf. It has practically all characters that I need. And the working exploit looks something like this. It's a simple created those header from characters from etc/security-access.conf. So we have M308 playlist, and inside this we have another M308 playlist created from the characters from some known files. But it works. I upload this to Facebook and get the first 4 bytes of etc password file. I tried some other files and it also works. It was cool. I tried to share my finding with Max and sent it to him through Telegram, and guess what? Yes, it was vulnerable too, absolutely in the same manner. All HTTP requests was blocked, but DNS technique works in this situation. So that's all what we wanted to talk about exploitation of this vulnerability. We showed you a technique when you extract data inside video, when you extract data inside a thumbnail, out-of-band technique, and out-of-band technique through DNS, which allows to bypass some firewalls or something like this. And now let's talk about possible severity of this bug and mitigation. We saw that it is possible to make a request, read responses, or read local files, but it's in the part of the service which process user input. Is it possible to hack the entire service? For the service like Facebook, of course not, but for some smaller services like, I can't say their name, but for other services which has 1 million of users every day, it's possible. Let's show you the worst case scenario. Some servers process video files, and it's a difficult task, so you need some cloud solution, for example, Amazon AWS, and you configured it better, so root credentials can be accessed from the video conversion service, and that's all. You can hack entire system by single video file. I saw several situations of this, but they asked me not to tell their names. And now you may ask how to check your service. First of all, you should use the latest version of FFmpeg. It includes all patches that you need to be secure. If you use default config, but usual people you have to use their custom config or have to use the older version because some options started to work different from that. And we developed a tool for this situation. You can check your own system. You can grab our tool from GitHub and set up in on your web server, or you can check our live demo on site FFmpeg-test.ru. It looks something like this. You can get our exploits from the previous parts, or generate your own to read some some particular file you want to read. And in the bottom, you see all DNS logs, which shows that the service is vulnerable, and all data got from HTTP. It's that simple. You can download file from this website, upload to service you want to check, and get the result. For example, this one I got from the second page of Google when asked the online video converter this morning. And now you may ask me, it's cool vulnerability in video processing library, but my service hasn't any video processing. Should I care about this? The normal answer should be no, but there is a lot of magic in this world. For example, ImageMagick, and it has a default delegate for video files, which uses FFmpeg. And I saw the real situation when it worked, and you can upload NVideo as an avatar and also read files and so on, like in other cases with this vulnerability. And the latest question, if you are a regular user, you are not admin or something like this, is this vulnerability in FFmpeg can be dangerous for you? I haven't the full answer for this, but if you look closer at any modern messenger, you see that there are a lot of video functions in it. You can send video, you can convert GIF to video, video to GIF, and something like this. And all this done by FFmpeg. And if the messenger you use compiled with some unsecure options, it's possible to hack it, for example, to get your conversation, something like this. I said I haven't done this research yet, but the Max found something interesting in local Linux installation, and he will talk about this right now.
So if you have Ubuntu Linux, for example, and you just save that specially crafted M3U8 file or MP4 file with exploit, you are in danger too. Because as you can see here, thumbnails were generated. And for thumbnail generation, Ubuntu use FFmpeg. So if you just save file, not even open it, and just see that file in a file manager, you'll see request because thumbnail was trying to generate. And you can read the first line of any file, or in Kali Linux, for example, which use GStreamer, there is no such vulnerability as in FFmpeg. But you can see the full path of file which contains your username. So you are root here and you download file test.mp4 into downloads folder in your home folder. That's this leak. So let's review our results. Completely new technique to attack. Different ways to use that technique. And of course our tool where you can easily check your site. Also 2 CVE were assigned for this vulnerability. They are already fixed in the latest FFmpeg version. And that's all. We are ready for your questions. Any questions? Can you use the microphone, please? Thank you.
Sorry, I was just wondering, are you going to publish like a white paper or anything on this? Like, it's really awesome stuff, but for me to digest it, it would take a little while, I think. I'm just curious if y'all are releasing any more like, specific details in all your research.
What's the question?
Are you releasing any?
No,
Are you asking about white paper, yeah?
we not publish any white paper. We only publish the slides of presentation and our tool. That's all.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. Have you had a chance to look into other potential protocols and not necessarily video streaming, but similar kinds of content download that you can drive to do similar exploitations?
Once again, protocols like concat or which kind of protocols?
So maybe using different plugins than video streaming.
The FFmpeg is a standard library. Maybe lipavi, which is a fork of FFmpeg, also popular, and other libraries isn't so popular, I think.
Thanks.
Cool stuff. How much work did you invest in this? So how much research time you spent on that?
I think
Approximately.
I think for the first part about 2 evenings, and for the second part.
I spent around 2 weeks, maybe. I don't know.
2 weeks means full time. Every day, like 8 hours.
No, I work at at work, and at the evening I make a research, something like this.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Maybe few hours per day.
Okay, great research.
Thank you.
Are there tools available that I can tell if MP4 is exploited, if it has this extra code in it? Is there a way to tell if my file is okay?
Are you asking about this tool where you can check?
It was the last part where you have a local MP4 file.
No,
so
but you can just craft file like file from some of our first. Yeah, you can use this file, just save it as MP4, and of course change black hat com to your domain. And if you will see request on your domain, then you're in trouble.
Right, but then I only know after it's a problem. Can I look at the MP4 before I run it to see if it's vulnerable?
We can add it to our GitHub of our tool. We can make this video and add it to GitHub.
Okay. Thank you.
Does this one work? Did the Facebook pay the bounty for DNS data exfiltration, or you did not submit it to them?
Of course, I submitted it to them. They paid a good bounty.
Thank you.